Brian, we're at that point of the year where the season's over, the football's done, but life still goes on behind the scenes at Fir Park. The first question put towards you today is, where are we at with negotiations with current players on our roster?
First of all, this is the busiest time for all the staff at the football club. Football never stops for us. I think the managers and his recruitment team have been in every day this week, from early to late. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes just now, and it has been over the last number of weeks. It hasn't just started when the final whistle went on Sunday at the game. A lot of stuff is going on behind the scenes in the lead up to that. It doesn't necessarily mean we announce anything, but listen, a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of things going on. We've got a squad rebuild to do, whether that's offers to existing players, offers to new players agreeing terms, a lot of agents involved, a lot of clubs involved. So sometimes the process can take a little more time than we all want, because we're obviously impatient. We want players signed, sealed and delivered, because it is such a short turnaround between the season finishing and then pre-season starting. I think our boys are back to 17th of June or something like that, so it's not a long time. But yeah, offers have been made to players, existing players. Offers have been going here, there and everywhere for new players. We've only got a small number signed already for next season, so I think it's really important we've got a lot of work to do, and we get the work done as early as possible. From Stuart's point of view, he wants as many players in the building for them coming back on the 17th of June, which makes perfect sense, so that when they do go to Holland, the majority of the squad are in place. The bonding session and the work through pre-season is so important for the season ahead.
Are the talks with the current players encouraging from your point of view at this stage?
It's difficult to know, because obviously you're dealing with agents, and agents will always try. So it's difficult. I think some are positive, some are maybe not as positive as I would hoped. Let's be honest, at all walks of life in football, some agents are a little bit unrealistic and will always try, but as long as what we're offering is fair to our players from a value perspective, then and within our wage bill, then we'll try our best to get any player, whether it's a current player or a new player.
Where are we at in terms of new players coming towards the club? Because recruitment, as you say there, it's going to be a squad rebuild this summer. Are there any irons in the fire in that regard?
Irons in the fire, there are probably more than a squad worth of offers going out to various, almost every position there is at the football club, just to try and make sure we've got cover. Now, that doesn't mean that every single one of them is going to sign, obviously, but again, Nick's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the manager and with Ross as well, to make sure that the identity of the players is right for the football club. The wage demands are in line with our budget as well, to make sure that we're not overpaying for somebody. And then it's a case of trying to negotiate. But as I say, there's been so many offers put to players who are either out of contract. A lot of discussions going on about potentially players who are in contract as well, which might then attract fees, which is a bit of an issue as well, from trying to get the money together. But there's always ways and means, so I think it will be a much changed squad for the start of next season.
Moving away from players and recruitment, season tickets have been on sale now for just over a month. We are approaching that early bird deadline. Where are we at in terms of sales and how we're looking towards next season?
Yeah, we are a bit behind where we were at this stage last season, but I don't necessarily read too much into that. The early bird finishes on the 31st, so we've still got another 10 days to go on that, and we do expect the numbers to be more or less the same as where we were this time last year. We do appreciate that times are hard just now. People probably saving money or trying to get the money together as well, so we do expect within the last week we've noticed the numbers have increased day on day, so hopefully by the end of next week we're at the same levels, if not better, than we were last year.
Fans will obviously not be in Fir Park for about 6 or 7 weeks at this point. When they return, can they expect to see anything different around the stadium? What renovation work will be taking place here?
Well, there's always work going on. Bob's leading a lot of work we need to carry out during the close season. The pitch obviously needs to be renovated. We're in the fortunate position that we have invested so much money in the pitch. So it is, everybody saw for himself how good it was, which also is a big attraction for players coming as well, which helps if you've got a good pitch to play on every second Saturday. From the recruitment point of view, it's a selling point. But yeah, there's a lot of work will be carried out over the next 6 weeks to make sure that we need to keep the place ticking over, whether it's painting, whether it's nosings, whatever it might be. just to make sure things are all right for the start of next season.
Something else that's been recently proposed online is the group of fans who currently sit in the end of the John Hunter stand potentially moving standing to a new location. What are your thoughts on that, and for any supporter who might be listening?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually arranged a meeting with the boys for Block E next week, after a discussion I had with a couple of the guys in the Welsh Society. Asked if I would be able to meet them. Of course, I'll always meet anybody and have an open conversation. I think the issue in an ideal world, we'd always look to try and bring supporters, especially noisy ones, behind the goal, but I think we have to be aware that that's a family stand. We're trying to encourage more and more families to come, and does it send the wrong message out? It probably does. The last thing we want to do is start and move people's seats who have probably sat there for a good length of time as well. It's not as if the stadium's brand new or anything like that, so I think we have to be aware of that. Logistically, is it possible? I can't find a way at the moment without upsetting people, so we'll have the discussion next week, and I'll explain that open and honestly to the guys and see if there's a way that we can try and help them and work together with them, because let's be honest, the atmosphere that they bring to the football club has been brilliant. As an example, Ross County away a couple of weeks ago, they sang for the full 90 minutes in the heat, and were just tremendous what the backing they give the football club. So I think it's important we work with them and we show honesty as well, but they understand, I'm sure, that we can't upset all of our families in the family stand by just suddenly moving back into the family stand and having to relocate other people from their seats, which doesn't encourage them to renew season tickets. So that's not a possibility at the moment.
Something else I think that supporters will be pretty keen to get an update on is the investment talks. A couple of months ago the club announced that they were trying to agree heads of terms with an American investor. Where are we at with that?
It's still ongoing. We met, I went along to the Welsh Society board meeting on Monday night, which started at 6 o'clock, and I left here at 25 to 11. And the main topic of conversation was going through the heads of terms just to work out and get the feedback. I think it's really important with any takeover, and the sensitivity of this as well, with it being fan owned, is that the Welsh Society have buy-in and come with this whole transaction going forward. Obviously it's been well documented, Eric is very keen to move it forward as quickly as possible, but again, we all need to understand that it's important we get it right, and it's important that everybody's happy with things going forward. And I think the only way we do that is to make sure we just take a little bit of time to make sure that when it does get ready to go to a vote and everybody's on board, that this is good for the football club, and any investment coming into the club itself is positive for us going forward, because it's getting increasingly hard. We're losing money every year at the moment, and how do we reverse that trend? As part of my job is to try and get new income streams and try and save costs where we possibly can, encourage more people back. But that's a slow burner. That can take time to try and make any inroads. But again, that's something I'm talking to the Welsh Society about. How can we do that? Let's work together, because for me it's so important we all work together, because I've said it before, but we all want the same thing.
You said in your first interview with the club that it's vitally important that Welsh Society members get their say, and that this would go to a vote if it gets to that stage. Is there a timeline for such a thing? There's
not a definite timeline, but we had a long discussion as part of that on Monday night, that we need to make sure that everybody gets their place to vote. We need to make sure that the actual heads of terms everybody in the Welsh Society board is comfortable with that, to put it to the Welsh Society members and also the other 30% shareholders as well outside of the Welsh Society. So I wouldn't like to put a timeline on it, because I think it's really important that it's right before it goes anywhere else.
Just finally as well, Brian, you're now in the post a couple of months. How have you found it so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. Obviously didn't start the greatest with the Dundee fiasco in the first week, and then there's quite a number of things of the madness of Scottish football which I'd forgotten about in 8 years, but I had a good meeting this morning with the SPFL, and I think hopefully the club, I can see so much potential in this football club, and even looking and analysing some of the databases we've got of lapsed season ticket holders, people that have bought tickets through the season who are non-season ticket holders. It's a massive potential in trying to get more people back, and hopefully we are a community club, we are a fan-owned club. We need to try and get people, local community behind us. 100% to try and grow this football club.
Thanks for your time, Brian.